Hey, what's going on, buddy? What are you doing there? I know what you're doing. You're just smoking weed. You're smoking that pot, that reefer.
Whoa, first of all, wait a minute. Aren't you Hopsin?
Yeah, you know it's me, but don't say my name in vain, buddy. All right? I'm here to tell you what's good in life, what you should do.
Hopsin, first of all, this is a hookah. I don't know if you know what a hookah is. This isn't weed. I haven't smoked weed in about 4 years.
That ain't hookah.
What's
laying
your
back on a loofah, smoking that pot.
Whoa.
Like you're just some dumb jock.
Well, you're getting pretty aggressive there. I mean,
look, man. I know you. I know you and your homies and your chums just go around just smoking hookah every day. I know what you're doing. Look at my blue eyes.
Hopsin. Actually, I've worked a 40-hour week, and on top of that, I'm going to school part-time.
Yeah, sure. Listen, buddy. I'm not too keen on what you're saying right now. Talking about how you work 40 hours. I know what you do. You're working 40 hours dealing that dope to the kids.
I'm a pre-med student. Do you know anything about the human anatomy at all?
I actually know more than you. I know everything about the human anatomy. I know about the brain.
I know everything.
I know about the body. I know about the soul, too. What do you know about the soul? A man's soul is what lets him go free in life. Okay?
You're listening to the Double D's podcast.
I'm Dom.
I'm the respect.
You got a great set of tits.
I get so angry thinking about this kid.
Because that's what most people are bitching about.
I'm from New York. You know what I mean? We like to eat out here. You
gotta stop looking at interacting with people online as a cheap date. My father used to drink.
Get the fuck away from me. I'm done.
I come a lot, by the way.
You're going to do the rap stuff.
If you didn't say it, somebody in the comment section would have said it.
It's like how you feel when you're having a paranoid high.
That's a dynamic connection right there. Everything.
Did I break you? I just broke you, man. I got you.
You're listening to Double D's.
I'm dumb.
I'm the respect.
I'm so glad you couldn't keep character.
You know
That's
what?
good.
You know what the thing is? When you said that, that actually sounds like something Hopsin might say if he's on his high horse and he just has to say anything in order to not allow his ego to let him lose the argument. I know everything about everything.
You don't have to go to medical school to know how the body works, buddy. Listen up. I'll tell you everything you need to know. All right?
If you're listening to the Double D's podcast via iTunes, we always want to remind you to be active within the iTunes community. Please comment. Please subscribe. It helps the Double D's podcast and Hopsin out so very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast, even though all you do is smoke pot and you don't go to school and listen to your mom.
So we've just watched this Fly video by Hopsin. If you guys haven't seen Hopsin's new single to his album Pound Syndrome, I'm not sure when it drops.
Pound Syndrome?
Pound Syndrome, yes.
Is that what happens? You fuck a girl too much or something?
You're giving her the Pound Syndrome. I think it has something to do with Concrete, I think, because I saw the album art, and it's like...
Is there a kid with Down syndrome on the cover of it?
That's offensive to people with Down syndrome.
Oh, the fans are tearing on me now.
So you're getting a lot of the same Hopsin here. You're getting a lot of the preachy Hopsin, which, I mean, let's lay this out now. I just want to say that anything that Hopsin has a beef with, I think Dom and I and most people who listen to this podcast could probably agree that TV rots the brain, and the content which we all consume today is it's not helpful. It doesn't serve us. Reality can be very shallow, and just the nature of life, and all that crap. I didn't study the lyrics, but he's basically always getting at the same thing. It's just the way in which he does it, I think, is a problem that we have. But we still find it incredibly hilarious.
Yeah, this video Fly, it's a classroom, and everyone's bored, and they're on their phones, and all this shit. And the teacher's like, Marcus Hopsin, come on up to the class. By the way, that trope has been wrung the fuck out. Square white teacher who's introducing stuff. He's like, what do you know about rock? What is this rock and roll? That shit done, okay? No more. Please. Mm-hmm. Fucking horrible. Anyway, Hopsin comes up to the class and he starts his spiel about life, how they're all controlling you, fam.
You gotta know.
And people aren't
You gotta know
paying
how to
attention at
navigate this
first.
life.
They're not paying attention at first, but eventually.
And then it's slowly, whoa. The guys look up from their phone. Whoa, man. You dude, you're so smart. He's talking, this video, it's not so much, look, he's always going to be superior. That's the thing. He's always going to come across as being superior to you. But this one is not about depression or you smoking too much drugs or smoking too. Wow, I'm starting to get to. It's not about you doing dope, doing the reefer. This one is about how the world is controlling you and how you have to free yourself. You have to fly, so to speak.
Which essentially is pretty much just like all of his other songs where he doesn't really offer up any solution to anything. His only solution, I guess, is just to follow him, because by the end of the video, what he has is this utopic, this utopia where everybody's like broken down into tribes, and Hopsin's got his abs out, and as Dom pointed out, how'd you put your contact lenses on by the end of the night? Do you put them in the container still while you're
he's
living off the fat of the land?
And he's walking around with all of his attractive friends. Of course, they're all fucking cut and ripped like he is, and their hair is so well kempt, and they all have shape ups. Oh yeah, you're in the wilderness now, right? Yeah. How do you get your hair shaped up when you're out there?
Dom, it doesn't matter. They freed themselves. That's why his hair's on point.
Free yourself. So that's your. And then they're out in the wilderness, and he finds a dove somehow. I don't know how he got a dove to get into his hands. I guess it's because he's so great, and animals love him, and every creature on this planet loves him.
You know what?
Some stupid ass dove flies in his hands and he lets it go again.
You know what the thing is that seems just so phony about it, because it's like he knows damn well he's very motivated by the materials of the world, by the surface level things in this world. I mean, you see him on some of his videos on Facebook, and this guy's got a huge fucking house. I mean, if I ever see a video of him, he's like in his living room, and his fucking living room looks like it's the size of my whole fucking apartment. It's just fucking enormous. And you mean to tell me that that's your solution? We should just all run out into the wild and just like live like we're cheetahs? Yeah, because in 4 or 5 days, you're not gonna fucking miss the convenience of your life. You know what I'm saying? You're going to miss all the fruits of your labor that you work so hard for. So I think the message gets a little muddy when he does something like that, because it's what makes it hilarious to me is there's just something about Hopsin that I've never been able to put my finger on. But it's just like, if I had a conversation, well, I have had a conversation, but it wasn't, the conversation didn't take that direction. But if you have a conversation with Hopsin, it's like if you ask him enough questions about his ideals in life, you can probably break him down in about 4 minutes.
Break him down in what sense?
You can break him down to just admit, he's like, dude, I'm just trying to sell records.
Listen, buddy, I'm just a sham. I'm just a sham, all right? A fraud, a phony. Like stale baloney.
Hologram.
I'm just a hologram, man.
Yeah.
I don't have no fam.
Like, if you present him with some, like, good evidence to something, he's just gonna say, hey, homie, like, I'm just here, man. Like, I'm just trying to make a living, bro. Like, that's what I feel like. I don't feel like this is coming from a place of I care about the well-being of people. I care about the betterment of mankind.
I think he does. I honestly
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I just think it's a superiority thing. No, it's a superiority thing. It definitely is.
If I could just reach one of these kiddos.
That's what he's thinking.
But hey, this is what we've spoken about many times. This is what happens when you try to save the world with your music. When you try to save the world with your music, it turns shitty. And he's a great rapper, because if you listen to the verses in Fly, he's still structuring everything very tightly. Like
he's always been a good rapper to me, but for some reason it's like the content just doesn't make me want like it. It's like I know that it's good, but I just don't want to. I don't know. It's just I think that the content of it is like. Didn't he make a song about some girl who didn't want to fuck him one time?
About a girl that didn't want to fuck him?
Yeah, that was a thing, right? He made a song about that.
I gave her everything, and she didn't fuck.
Sounds familiar about an ex. Yeah, maybe. I might have just forgotten it, but yeah.
But I think Kendrick is an example. He's kind of trying to save the world. He's very explicit about wanting to change the world. Black of the Berry Eyed, fucking the whole To Pimp a Butterfly album is like that. Is him offering sort of trying to offer comfort or sort of expressing anger towards the world as a black dude from Compton.
Yeah, but you know, with a song like Black of the Berry, I mean, he's pointing the finger at himself. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's nothing that Hopsin's never done that ever. I mean, if he's done it to any degree, he'll say something very vague like, "I'm disappointed in myself because I participate in this genre which perpetuates so many stereotypes." Like that's a very vague way to blame yourself, but he never like specifically says something like, "Oh, I'm a hypocrite because of this reason," or whatever the fuck. You know.
Do you just hate him because his white girlfriend's cute?
That's why you hate him. Okay,
I know, but
that's why you hate him. No. I don't hate this man. I don't hate him. It's just disappointing to hear records like this. It's disappointing, but it's fucking hilarious at the same time. I just get this image of just like Hopsin just being like the Pied Piper, and he's got a bunch of kids like trapped in his room, and sooner or later the parents are gonna come in and they're gonna lynch Hopsin or stone him.
Eat him.
It's like he's getting away. It's like he's getting away with talking to these kids a certain way, and if an adult was in the room, he would never fucking say that. Like, Hopsin, don't you fucking talk to us like this? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not as bad as that Ill Mind that he had. That was just an onslaught of.
Yeah, and everyone in the comments is like, yeah, you lay into those layabout children.
Lay into us, man.
Yeah, and the kids are just like, in the video are just, man, yeah, we're so fucking down and out. And just with no acknowledgement of like why they are the way they are, too. Because that's a big deal. You see someone... God damn, you fucking walk down the street and you see a homeless dude, and it's like, it's not that simple. He might just be a degenerate piece of shit who just drank too much and his family ousted him. True, but like, I read this Washington Post article today about, how smart do I sound right now?
Douche, you fucking douche.
Yes, but I read this Washington Post article about this Harvard-educated guy who just, I hate how that's supposed to mean that you're successful. Mm-hmm. Anyway, fucking Harvard-educated guy who's homeless now. He was a lawyer, and he had a couple of psychotic breaks, and he like developed schizophrenia in the early 90s, and he's been living on the street since then. And like the reporter interviewed his family members, and they were like, he just snapped one day, pretty much. It just kind of, and that's how schizophrenia has manifested itself in people like that. The point I'm making is like, you don't know. And of course that doesn't absolve people of like their actions. You're always going to be judged, but it's like there are people who it's like it's kind of not their fault why they are the way they are. Like they need help beyond you just saying, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Get your shit together. Stop fucking smoking weed. Why you drink? Why do you drink so much? Why do you drink so much?"
Because you're questioning.
Because I'm fucking depressed. My dad raped me when I was younger. Like,
you could be something that could be so much more serious, and it's just not going to get solved by you pointing out that there's a problem.
Yeah, it's like, seriously, what if it's like some kids who just walk out of Subway? They're like, Jared was touching us. You know, like what? I shouldn't say that. We're probably gonna get sued now. Jared, for the record, I don't think Jared touched those kids. I don't think he. I don't think it
was anything about touching kids. I was watching porn, I believe.
Right. I don't think Jared had any CP, as they call it in the business. But yeah. So please don't sue us, Subway. I eat fresh every day. But yeah, what if it's like there's no acknowledging that people fucking do these things for a reason. It's like it's just judging. It's just straight up. And I'll admit, like the flip side of that is like there've been a lot of violent crimes in DC. A lot of fucking really shitty ass dudes doing awful stuff to people, and I look at them and it's hard for me to sympathize in those moments. You hear about someone like stabbing a dude 30 times in the metro, and you're like, man, in this moment it is hard for me to worry, to sort of think about what made you what you are. I just want to fucking see you gone. I want to see you locked up in the cage with the rest of them.
Question.
But it's shitty. What's up?
Question. Do you think Hopsin has daddy issues?
Based on what?
based on his need to spew his authority on everyone.
I don't think that's how daddy issues manifest themselves. I am quite the expert in how daddy issues manifest themselves in women, but I don't.
You don't know how they manifest themselves in men.
I don't. You know what? What I do know is like if you don't grow up with a man around the house, you seek. Yeah, one of the things like you seek authority figures. You seek someone to teach you. That's one of the things that men, like boys, will do. It's like this is why kids are really prone to like being introduced into gangs, because they give you love, and they teach you things, and you gain their respect, and they tell you, hey little motherfucker, go run this down the corner, and you're like, no one has ever confided in me to do something, no one has ever thought that I could do anything and rewarded me afterwards for doing it. So the kid runs down the corner.
To quote Tupac, I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. So there's that daddy issue there.
I don't like how you said love just now.
That's how he said it in the song. It's
that's how he said it?
It was Dear Mama, you cocksucker.
They showed a young brother love.
Yeah, he said they showed a young brother love. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Damn. So I was right. Even without, I am a fucking expert. I know everything about the body. But yeah, that's how it manifests.
Hopsin
boys.
says he knows everything about the body. You didn't say anything.
No, yeah, you're right. Hopsin said that.
It was fucking Hopsin.
But so based on that, like he doesn't have that eager desire, I think, to sort of learn or sort of be
Okay, so how about this? I'll throw this at you. What about a God complex?
I mean, I'm not gonna go so far. I think he has he might have a few delusions of grandeur. I mean, every artist I think does.
No. Don't widen the scope. I'm asking you about Hopsin. I'm not asking about every artist when you think about it as a God complex, because you want to change something, right? You want to create. I mean, that's what God does. I don't want that shit rap run. I'm asking you specifically about Marcus Hopsin.
Specifically about Hopsin, since I'm being grilled now. Mm-hmm. I don't. That's too much. That's too much to put on him. I think. God damn it. I think he thinks his.
Well, there's only one way to answer this. There's only one way to answer this. Let's see what happens if Hopsin goes to his local deli and he orders a croissant. And if the croissant takes too long to get brought to his table, then he is a god.
I get it.
You may continue.
Does Hopsin have a god complex? I'm on the fence with this because I don't. Oh God, I think he wants to appeal to like sad skater kids. Mm-hmm. He has a little bit of the god complex. I'll say he has a little bit of it.
Okay.
But again, if I widen the scope, a lot of these artists do, and it is delusional. Mm-hmm. It really is. To think that people care about your shit and that you're going to change their minds, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I doubt he's changed anyone's mind. I mean, like,
I listen to you. Sure he has.
You know what's worse than Hopsin is the guy whose life is changed by Hopsin and shakes his hand after a concert. Hey, yo, Hop, man, that shit you spit was hot. It burned me to my core, and now I don't fear life anymore.
It's the first line of his mixtape.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? How'd you like to be the girl that meets the guy that had his life changed by Hopsin, and he's so excited to introduce her to Hopsin's music?
Do you think he'd be like, you know what he would say? He'd be like, now listen, I'm going to show you some cool stuff, girl.
Okay.
And now that you're in my life, someday I'll make you my wife. But yeah, he takes... He takes out the CD because it's still a CD, or it's on vinyl. He's like, "This is a Hopsin vinyl. Hopsin is the most important guy in my life," and he's telling,
and you need to deal with that.
Yeah. And if you're gonna be with me, baby, you gotta listen to what's true. And he plays it for her. And
he plays Illmind 5.
He's watching her the whole time, and he has his blue contacts in because he wants to be just like Hopsin.
Oh my God.
But, if a guy was introducing his girlfriend to, let's say, Death Grips, it's a different can of worms right there.
Well, guys who listen to Death Grips typically don't have relationships long enough to be actual relationships because they end up burying their girlfriends in their backyards.
Fuck you. It's probably true. I'm not going to talk too much about the show, but I did see the show.
You want to talk about it. You want to get into it.
It was incredible. It was the first time I got into a mosh pit. I did it. Mike C-Town, I did it.
Oh, okay.
All right? I was expecting it to be a lot more violent than it was. The awesome thing about the mosh pit, though, is like I'm so heavy. I'm such a large gentleman.
You're a
that,
big
like,
bone dude.
I can't be pushed around if I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few times where I almost got pushed like off balance. So I was like, wow, this crowd is. That was you're moving with this audience that's just like. It's fucking like I said in Dom Diggs. It felt like I was in hell, and that's what I kept thinking. Like the room was hot as fuck. It was so loud that I brought earplugs, and it was still fucking loud. You're in a sea of people. It's just hot. It's sweaty. A couple of times, like girls were bumping into me, and I was like, why are you in a mosh pit? You know, I could just grab your booty right now.
And you didn't attempt any of that?
No, I didn't because I knew that like. Yeah, I just didn't do it because that's probably against the rules, and
it probably is,
touching people.
I'm sure it is.
And it could have been a man butt, and what would happen then if you just turned around and hey, what was that?
Was it?
Yeah, but I didn't.
Her ass or was it his ass?
I don't know. It could have been whatever. In the mosh pit, anything go. Yeah, but I had I was drenched in sweat when I left. My sweat, their sweat, everyone's sweat. MC Ride sweat. That dude, he's a great performer, man.
How close to the stage were you? How close did you get eventually?
I got like about.
Did you get any of Ride's sweat on you?
Maybe I got 10 feet away from him.
Okay.
He looked at me like a time or two, but I don't think when he's looking into that crowd, he's not even.
Don't you? Okay. Don't you look? One thing that I'm not gonna allow you to do is to take this to some fucking transient conversation about how MC Ride doesn't see people when he's on stage. He must see color or something like that. Fuck
I'm
you.
saying
no, don't do it. I know you were gonna do something like that.
He's in his head, probably just. He looks insane when he's up there.
Deranged.
I don't know what he. Insane in my brain. Go through the play.
How many songs did they perform? How long was the set?
The set was about almost 2 hours long. They did all the hits. There were a couple ones that I wish they would have played, like on GP, for instance. I wish they would have played.
He said the hits.
They played the hits.
And with the number one single coming in today, it's Death Grips. Blah, blah, blah.
Blood to my head. A bunch of people came up to me. Most of them were from Reddit, from a Reddit post I made. But a few kids knew me from DSC, and one kid, especially Parker. How you doing out there, buddy? He saw me from the balcony, and he went down. I'd like to think that he ran down, and then he shook my hand. I talked to him. I gave him an Underwater Eddie sticker, my last one. Nice as fuck. Everyone was nice there.
Awesome.
Parker, thank you.
Parker, first before he shook your hand, he asked about me. He asked if I was there, right?
Yeah, he said, "Hey, where's Daddy?" That's what he said.
Okay.
And then I said, "I'm right here."
Nice, very well done. Okay, so when you and Parker first initially saw each other, and let's get into this. Okay, so Parker came up to you and he said, "What exactly?" Parker, if you're listening,
he said something.
Wait, but before you said we're not. We know that people listen to this podcast and some people comment. Most people just ghost ride the whip. They don't say a goddamn word. Parker, please, we want the screenplay of you walking up to Dom and what actually happened, and let's see if it matches up with what Dom has to say. Go ahead, sir.
So I turn around with my winning smile. I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Okay. Yeah, but he's like, I remember him saying something like, "Oh yeah, are you Dom?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I shook his hand. I was really happy, and I was like, "Oh, let me get you a sticker, man. Let me get you a sticker. I don't have many left." And I was like, "How do you know about me?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I listened to the podcast." I was like, "Oh fuck," and I was flipping out because It's just weird. It's a weird, interesting thing to see a real life person who listens to our dumb shit. What else happened? I think he told me that he saw me from up on the balcony. Really nice kid. I think we might have talked about one more thing, and then he went back up there.
Broken dicks.
He didn't linger. This kid is a fucking champion, dude.
Okay.
Champion for not lingering.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he didn't want to linger around you because you made him feel weird.
No,
No?
it couldn't have been that. Like, why would
I would never do
anyone? Yeah, why would anyone feel awkward being around me?
Okay.
It couldn't be that I put out nervous energy because I'm nervous as shit. Even though I want people to approach me when they do, I get nervous as fuck. It couldn't be that, right?
Did Ride stage dive?
He did once. He dived. People were feeling on his abs. Someone probably touched his dick, and they quickly got him back up on stage. People were crowd surfing speaking of crowd surfing, some of the kids who had seen me through DSC, I let them cut the line because they had said hi to me, and then during the show, these kids were fucking nuts. You guys know who you are. One of them with the ODB shirt, Old Dirty Bastard shirt. I forgot your name. But they were going crazy in that pit, and I would see them. They didn't even come out for air or for water. They were in there moshing the whole time. And then, like, one of the kids, he tapped me on the shoulder, and be like, "I want to go up, man." Like crowd surf. So I boosted him up, and then another kid, I boosted him. I boosted up 3 dudes in quick succession. I almost passed out from exhaustion.
So you're kind of like Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Time on my hand. At some point, MC Ride, this chick was flipping him off, and he kicked her hand.
He kicked her hand?
He kicked that bitch.
Whoa. Why do you do that?
Yeah, you respect that shit, don't you? Because she was flipping him off.
No, I don't respect it. I'm shocked by it. Why the fuck would he kick her hand?
Because he kicked that bitch. That's why.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm
Don't flip him off. You're in his realm. All right?
Kick your hand! And the number 1 single today, Kick Your Hand by Death Grips. The hits, you fucking jagoff.
I kick your hand. I ain't no man. I'm a fan in the basement. Amazing show.
I'm sure it was, man. I'm sure it was. I mean, was how much was it to go see them? It wasn't overpriced or anything.
It's cheap, man. $25.
$25
like
to see them. Okay, you got your
money.
money.
Dude, this one chick, oh my god. This chick I saw, ooh, she was grinding on some dude for like, and I shit, you know, I was staring at her for like 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. She was the kind of girl who's like, so she's grinding on the dude, and she's looking around at the dudes around her, and she like made eye contact with me, and she's still grinding on the dude, and I'm like, this girl is just she's hypnotizing me, man. I'm supposed to be paying attention to the show, yet I'm looking at this girl, and she, you know how some girls just look like sex, like they just look like it's just like they look at you with their eyes, and you're just like, what? Like, what do you want from me? I'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. Just tell me what the price is.
What was so alluring about her?
Very, very cute girl.
Would you like to describe her?
She was. She looked like every girl I'm nuts about these days. She looked mixed, mm-hmm. Black, and she probably simple black white mix. Mm-hmm. Tall, like very curly dark hair. I wasn't crazy about her outfit, but this girl, I stared at her so long, I could draw her from memory right now. Mm. Very like thick lips, just like hazel eyes, just like with like a little bit like that dark mascara around there. Just fucking, oh.
I'm imagining.
I'm about to jerk.
I'm imagining something of akin of a Stacey Dash.
In that family, in that realm, mm-hmm. yeah. Grinding on some tall, lanky, dorky-looking motherfucker, but he was just holding on to her for dear life. And I'm inclined to believe that he was just some random ass dude, because after the show, he just walked away. So like, I could have pushed him out of the way theoretically. I mean, probably not. Maybe could I have?
Probably.
That would have started something.
Meanwhile, some other place in the internet, that dorky guy's got his own podcast, and he's talking about dancing up on some girl at a Death Grips concert, and there was this weird-looking black guy looking at him from across the room.
Black dude,
yeah,
just fucking staring.
What's the name of his podcast, by the way?
Lanky Boy.
Lanky Boy Cast.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Lanky Boy Cast. Our guest today is Hopsin, my favorite artist. Oh yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something. What is the etiquette, if you could say that, for mosh pits? Is there something that's off limits?
Yeah, dude.
stealing someone. Do they say steal in New York? If you steal someone, what does that mean to you?
If you steal, well, you're using it in the wrong tense. We say if you, I stole that nigga. I stole that nigga.
I'm gonna steal you.
No, I've never heard
proper.
it. No, I've never heard it used like that.
I'm gonna steal you.
No.
You're about to get stole. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I always hear it in past tense. Yo, he stole that nigga, son. Yo, stole that nigga.
He just stole that mother.
Because it's
his jaw's just
because you're forgetting who says it. It's not the actual attacker. It's a spectator that says it.
No, the attacker can say, I'm going to steal you, man.
Nah, man, nobody ever says that. I'm going to steal you. What is that? Sounds like you're flirting with somebody. I'm going to steal you, put you away in my pocket, and like keep you forever. No, I don't know what that means. But all right, the etiquette.
The etiquette, you can't just punch people. I mean, actually, excuse me, you get zealots every once in a while. You get guys who are too into it. Like, I got elbowed in the chest, like, twice.
Ooh, fuck.
Hard. Hard. And, I mean, I recovered very quickly from that. I mean, it didn't hurt me, but, like, there's etiquette. Like, I noticed, like, people are it's like they're losing their shit, but they're also conscious of their environment. It's like you're not gonna poke your elbows out and start flailing around because you're gonna hit someone. I hear that in some places. Apparently this is pretty intense as far as mosh pits go, but like some super hardcore bands, like they're beating the fuck out of each other. They're actually going at it. This was not an occasion like that. If someone falls, everyone stops and you get at least 2 people picking them up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's immediate, dude. Because I picked up about like 2 or 3 people. I think I went to like bouncer mode or some shit. I don't know what was wrong with me.
Tapping back into your bouncer days.
Yeah. But it's like someone falls, they're immediately getting yanked up. It's like not even a thing. Like, so as crazy as people get, there's no hitting. It's like you can push. People will push you, like push your back or on your chest. You'll get jostled quite a bit, but yeah, there's no strikes. There's no like closed fist striking it on people. They had a lot of security out there. They had the most security I ever seen in a show, dude. I got patted down by this big ass dude. He opens my bag. He's like, "Hey, what you got in here, my brother? What you got in here? What you got in here?" In my face, and I'm like, "Water." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's all you got for real? That's all you got?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And he's like, "Yeah, because what do you think? What do you think's the next thing after water that people have that I'm looking for?" And I'm like, "Guns? I don't know." And he's like, "No, liquor." And he's like, "You mind if I open this water?" And I'm like, "Go ahead, man." He sniffs it to try and see if it's vodka or something. No, he sips it, and then I'm like, "Cool, can I take it in there?" He's like, "Oh, nah," and he throws it away.
Whoa!
Like, so why'd you smell it? Of course, I didn't say that to him because dude was big as shit, and he fucking looked like he had a chip on his shoulder, chip on his dick. And then he opens up my pencil case. And he's like, "What's in here?" I'm like, "Pencils and a sharpener." And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's rummaging through the pencils. He's like, "Okay." He puts it back in the bag. He's like, and I'm like, "Okay." And I try and go, and he's like, "Oh, I ain't done. I gotta pat you down. I gotta pat you down, bro." Hard pat down my legs, a little bit towards the dick. I'm like, "Ugh, dude." He's like patting my ass, and he's like, "What's in here, man?" He's pulling out the double D stickers, and I'm like, "Dude, they're stickers." And he's like, "Oh, I see." And he's looking at him as if like he's looking for tabs of acid or some shit. He threw away like the sticker paper, like the used stuff, and I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" And then I got investigated again at the door. So this wasn't even at the door. It was fucking weird, man. So they were really expecting a crazy ass show, which it was. I kind of get it. I got the the wand waved around me. Someone managed to sneak a vape in there, though, because someone vaped at the beginning of the show.
Well, I think that's always the case. I think every concert that I go to, there's always one guy smoking a vape.
But I don't know why you would want to get high during a Death Grip show, like at least vaping.
Dude, when I went to see Euro Droog, I saw at least 3 or 4 people, and it was a very small venue. It was such a small venue, and I saw at least 3 or 4 people in front of me smoking vapes. It's the norm in concerts. It really is. It's just people like you. You're just a fucking pussy. You don't want to smoke it because you think everybody's gonna kill you.
Yeah, one time the last Tame Impala concert I saw, the dude next to me was like, he had a little PAX. He had one of those PAX things where it's like a click, like the one that Childish Gambino loves.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, little PAX thing.
So you would definitely go see Death Grips again.
Absolutely, no fucking question.
Okay.
I'm ecstatic to go see him again.
Would
That
you
was
go
amazing.
see Death Grips if Hopsin opened up for them?
I would pre-order my tickets if that was the case.
Okay, you would make it late on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at you guys staring up here with your eyes.
Wanting to see Death Grips? You know they have death in the title. Words mean things, yo.
Ew. Ew.
With his baggy jeans from 1997.
I will say to you that I did smoke a little weed at the last Tame Impala concert I was at.
What is Tame Impala?
It's a band, dude.
Okay.
But like, yeah, they were passing around a joint. I was like,
There's so many different like weird bangs. Tame Impala. What is this? Can you explain to me?
Tame Impala is incredible.
So
They're
Tame Impala, what is this?
They're a
What is this?
psychedelic rock band.
Okay, all right. All right. That's enough.
You should listen to some of their recent albums.
I've had enough of that. A psychedelic
You don't like rock
group.
You don't like anything good.
Well, it's not that I don't like rock. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's
You
just,
might like them. I don't know what's wrong with you. You only listen to hip hop. The fuck is wrong with you?
well, listen.
So we can't even talk about this shit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, see, the problem is that you say it as if I and the listeners know who the fuck Tame Impala is.
You would 70% of them know what Tame Impala is.
Now you would admit
70%.
Now you would admit that me saying Ural Droog, that most of these kids would know who it is because wait for it, we normally talk about hip hop, right? So when you say Tame Impala, you mean to tell me that most of these kids know who Tame Impala is?
Yes. Okay. You know why? Because there's overlap. Because most of these kids who listen to hip hop aren't only listening to it like you. Okay?
Tame Impala.
So many of them listen to other forms of music.
Tame Impala.
They don't just sit there and only listen in the hip hop realm. Yeah. All right, buddy?
Let's see. Tame Impala.
Yes, dude. There's so many. You know, I'm trying to think of. I think there might have been a rapper who sampled some of their.
What is this? What is this?
Yeah.
The dude. People in this band.
No,
look
Tyler.
Like...
Tyler did. Tyler referred to Tame Impala in Wolf and in Cherry Bomb, I believe. Yes.
I will say that I like the images that they use in their videos. I like the colors.
It's beautiful. It's great.
They look like they all work at Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, I can see that.
All
they're Australian drugged out weirdos.
Yeah. Tame Impala.
That is an incredible band, dude.
I'm sure it is.
Great show.
I'm sure it is. But you know what? Unfortunately, I won't be listening to any Tame Impala because anytime I send you anything of any substance, you never fucking check it out. So why the fuck should I check out Tame Impala?
I do check it out.
I don't check out anything. Shut up.
What was the last thing you sent me?
I don't know. It's been a while because I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, see? I watch them.
I've learned my lesson. I don't send you anything anymore. I've seen certain things that I've thought about sending you, but then I'm like, all right, he's not gonna give a fuck.
I was gonna send you a Bukowski video yesterday. You listen to any Bukowski? Have you read any of his stuff?
No.
You might. I think you might be able to pull something out of it. He is a dick. He's kind of a old alcoholic asshole.
He's got a kike. He's got a cock.
Oh, whoa!
A kike, a cock.
What? You just said a dirty racial slur.
So I wanted to sound like Conor McGregor for a second.
Who is that?
Conor McGregor? You don't know who Conor McGregor is?
Who is that?
I don't know. Look it up. Meh. Look it up.
Was that you and McGregor?
No, Conor McGregor. He's a UFC fighter. Forget it. Anyway, Dom, look, I wanna lay the red carpet out for a second.
Thanks, please do.
And I want to let you guys know that we are in the presence of true genius. So we have to act accordingly. We have to act a certain way here. Okay? Mm-hmm. Dominic Rabron.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. See, you were going to fucking bitch. Dominic Rabron was recently hired by Vice, the media brand. I guess we could say, are they a media brand? hired by Vice, commissioned by Vice to do an animation.
Yes.
About a 1 minute animation.
1.5 minutes.
1.5 minute animation. Now, recently, Vice has contacted you for what exactly?
They told me they're going to do a video profile on me for Vice. So, like, a bunch of the animators, they're going to do, like, interviews with them and sort of show, like, behind the scenes, like, who are making these videos. And they were going to send a guy from Baltimore to profile me, which was cool enough. He was going to set up cameras and audio in here and film me working on my animation stuff. But then the other day, they just messaged me and they're like, "Hey, how do you feel about just what if we flew you out to Portland and put you up in a hotel and had you work out of the office for a few days? We want you to help us with some animation stuff here." And I was like, what? And they're gonna do the video profile while I'm out there. So I'm gonna be talking to the director, whoever else is at the office, other animators,
Doing some coke.
Yeah, doing some of that. It is Vice, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna experience there. Never been to Portland. I'm excited as fuck. Just the feeling I got when I saw that message. It's like you can spend. Like you have no idea how many hours, days, months I've spent just walking to work every day, just being like, why do I do this to myself? Like, why do I? It's hard. Most of the time, it's hard. It's usually not easy. Like convincing yourself to keep working and that it's worth something and that people will notice. Like, that's the hardest thing. Is like I'm not too big on external validation. Like it's great. It is really good. Like
I mean, the external validation is how you eventually make a living.
You're right. You're right.
But that's not what you go for.
Right. I mean, I'm doing it because I love doing it. Because if you're doing it only because you want someone external to validate you, you're fucked from day one. But I've always wondered, it's like, am I going to get a big break? Am I going to get someone throwing me a fucking bone? Am I going to get anything? And it's like, it's months, dude. You have to be prepared for years of not getting anyone noticing you. And then this shit happens. Vice contacted me, and dude, I've emailed Vice like 3 times, dude, asking,
for
begging
exactly?
to do animation or illustration, anything.
Okay.
I've begged them. The last time I emailed them, the art director, one of the art directors from Vice, was like, and this was only like 5 months ago. He's like, "Your stuff still looks a little bit art school to me. Come back to me 6 months
really?
from now."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not. It wasn't a. Honestly, I don't take it as an insult because I understand what he means. Like, still imagery is not my thing, and I think I am still kind of amateur in that sense. Like, I'm still learning, but now I get the director of this animated series coming directly to me, and they're giving me other opportunities that I won't bring up because I still don't know if they're solid. But like, it pours sometimes. It just pours on you. You'll spend so much time doubting yourself. But if you keep going, things are going to happen. That's the trick. When you want to give up, then you keep moving. Yeah, but I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen in Portland. I mean, besides me just working my ass off and hoping.
For how many days exactly?
I'm going to be there for Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 3 nights, and a little bit of the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna put me up in a hotel and shit, and I'm ecstatic, man.
This guy's gonna live like a rock star in Portland for a few days.
Yes,
You should just like drink everything out of the mini bar.
Dude, and
there has to be rules against that, is there?
Oh, there has to be. Like, I wouldn't do that. I go there, and I just order room service, just like everything.
You should,
Horrible.
because you should look back and you should want somebody 20 years from now said, you know that Dominic Robron, he got his first break from Vice. They flew him out to Portland, put him in the hotel. You know what he did? He drank everything out of the mini bar. He was a rock star from day one. Rock star animator.
Oh my god, no such
He was
thing.
a rebel. He was a rebel without a
We're all
cause.
ugly, smelly dudes. That's all animators are. So I have a friend from Portland, and he's been telling me about all the crazy shit, all the food and the ice cream stores and Portland is. If you ever watch Portlandia, you have like a tiny idea of how
how super liberal and eccentric that city is. I mean, weed is legal there. They're hyper liberal. Like everything is free range or recycle or compost.
Birthplace of Nike, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Let's see.
But there's gonna be a lot of things to draw there. I assume a lot of hipster girls. They'll make my dick feel funny. But I'm not out there to fuck.
I think you'd be likely to meet the same woman in Portland that you would meet in your hometown right now.
Nah, bro.
I don't think so.
It'll be different. Every girl here works for a nonprofit organization or the government. They're boring as shit. They're not all boring, but they just don't have spice.
The company is headquartered near Beaverton, Oregon, in the Portland metropolitan area. So maybe you could tour the Nike. You know, the Nike company. Maybe you could do that. Let's fit that into your schedule.
It's a possibility. I'm going to do at least one drawing video of me in that city and just talking about the place. Mm-hmm. I may do the thing that I always wanted to do, which is just interview strangers and put that audio over me drawing. I just gotta.
I don't.
You don't like the idea?
I don't get the idea of you interviewing strangers. I don't.
It's not interviewing. It's just like talking, like just talking to them. You don't think that's interesting? You don't like hearing?
Well, maybe if you're illustrating and you're doing that, but I mean, look, I do understand that there is something like Humans of New York.
Right. That's basically what I'm doing.
That's something that they do, but it's like.
You think it's hack?
No, not that it's hacky. I just think that. Like, for example, on Instagram, like Humans of New York, like, I sometimes, I go to their thing and I read the caption of whatever the person has to say. And on some level, it's more palatable for me to just read that than to listen to the person, which I don't know. I think I'll lose interest after about a minute or two. Yeah, I don't know. Because at that point, it's just like running into just random people, which is exciting at the beginning, but then it's just like... I think
it's just me.
I'll quote George Carlin by saying, I like people, but I like them in short bursts. But once you get up to a minute and a half, it's like you just want to get the fuck out of there.
My drawing videos aren't 10 minutes long, so let's say it's 6 minutes, and I could do 3 people in that.
So what would you start off with? I mean, you would start off with
I could
Steve,
just be
who's on his lunch break. He's a temp at a modeling agency, but Steve has aspirations to be...
I thought you were going to say Asperger's, which would have been infinitely more interesting.
Well, Steve has Asperger's, and he also has aspirations to be an animator himself. So you had a conversation about Steve, about art, about existence, and Steve had to go back to work.
Yeah, I just cut out the interesting parts. I just put in the interesting parts of him saying why he wants to be an animator or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So your intention, if you interview somebody who is, you want to pull exactly what out, because there has to be some sort of intention to show
interesting
the viewer something.
Stuff I find interesting.
But something more specific. There has to be something that you're looking for here. It just can't be as vague as just something interesting. Are you looking for the person's ambitious side? Are you looking for something dark within the person, or is it just
all
change from person to person?
The ambitious stuff is kind of boring to me because it's like, I want to start a t-shirt company. Like, all right, whatever. If they gave me something like, oh, why did I leave art school? I think that's interesting to talk about.
Okay, so regret. So regret is something that you really care about.
We're approaching this from totally different angles. I'm going out and getting whatever it is.
Whatever it is that you find interesting about that, bro.
Yeah, I don't go out seeking regret, but because if I don't want to pull that, I don't want to go in like Brandon does in Humans of New York, saying, "What's one thing you regret?" Like that. No, I'm not going to do that. It'll be more natural than that.
Okay.
But like I said, I haven't even done this yet, so I'm not even going to know. I might hate it after I do it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But
what my voice is going to be lingering in your head, and you're going to know.
Yeah.
The truth.
What is this? What is this?
I do not sound like this. I do not sound like that. Don't ignore him, everybody. That's not what I sound like.
But maybe I'll ask him about Portland. Like, what is this city? Like, what is this place?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what I'll ask him while I'm drawing. I think that would be interesting.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you, sir. And by the time this podcast will be up, you'll probably be back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
And,
we'll cover it. Right. We'll cover it on the next show.
Because I'm gonna fly out of here, fly to Atlanta, and fly to another place.
Mm-hmm.
Fly to Portland. I'm excited, man. We'll see what happens. I hope they're. I just have to stop myself from being worried about shit because it's so easy for me to do. It's like, oh yeah, what if this happens? I'm just gonna go in there, do well, not be worried about the future and all that shit. And some sick part of me is like, oh yeah, what if I never get another opportunity again? I don't know why it's something I worry about.
Well, yeah.
Like if I got this
I
opportunity,
think that's natural.
Right, but if I got this one, that means I'm doing something right. That's all that fucking matters. I'm doing the right thing.
Well, how do you feel about? I mean, we were on the subject of ambition. How do you feel about the thought of where you're doing this? Like, a person who claims that they are ambitious always claims that they are like 2 or 3 steps ahead of what they're doing, which I think is very difficult, by the way. You really do exist in 2 different worlds if you're doing something creatively and if you're doing something that's structured and something where the ladder of success is something that you can see and it's plain as day. It's a lot easier in that sense to plan everything ahead and to know all your steps. If you're trying to be an animator or an illustrator, it's like that you can see maybe half a step after what you're doing, but it's very fucking difficult to be like, oh yeah, well after this is you know.
You know the way, and it's
tricky.
not the government. It's not you working in corporate America. It is not. Being an artist is not that way in any, because like, it's like if I'm trying to plan my steps, the way it works is like, I walk a few steps and I might stumble a little bit, and then out of nowhere, someone just gives you a jetpack, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to use this for the next few steps." Like, okay, I guess I'm using this now, and it's like it's this winding thing that's just like, I never started out wanting to animate. Do you know how crazy that is? I started out wanting to illustrate. If you guys know Noah Bradley, this illustrator who does very sort of hyper-realistic stuff like fantasy type art, concept art. I wanted to be that guy when I left college. But the more I started working on this art, on my drawing stuff, the more I realized that I don't like doing still imagery, like still illustrations. It's not my thing. Which is why like the Dom Dig stuff, it's always moving, or just because that's the only way to keep me interested. Because this Vice project I'm working on, I put probably like, I don't know, like maybe 30 hours into it, but I cannot do that for one image that stays that is still. So like you learn all these things about yourself, but only through trial and error, and just you cannot predict what's gonna happen sometimes. Yeah, so I mean, although I still like still imagery and that kind of stuff, I think animation is kind of, and I'm not even a professional. I didn't go to school for this. I went to school for studio art, which is like, it's like a very general sort of practice, but I learned all this animation stuff on my own. It's fucking crazy, man.
Nardwar once told you kiddies to do it yourself.
He's so fucking right, man.
Do it?
Don't wait to be chosen. I mean, actually, I guess I was just waiting to be chosen, but like, yeah, but you choose yourself for this stuff, and eventually.
No, but I mean,
like,
you were referring to the jetpack. Now, the jetpack, what that implies is that you got a boost from an outside entity that was a lot more powerful than your own. But that doesn't mean that when you're not utilizing the jetpack, you're not out there walking. The mysterious road. It's like you're still out there anyway, but just every now and then you get you get attached to that jetpack. I mean, it's no different. I mean, last year I just out of nowhere I was featured on CNN. Obviously not as not as useful as being hired by a media company. But all of a sudden, just one day you see a spike in your views and a spike in your subscription box.
And that's the boost.
Right, and that's a little boost, and then it's like it's gone. All right, now we're moving forward.
And that's the most important part. Is like, no matter what happens, this is a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. But if they told me tomorrow that I'm off the project, I'm not stopped. I mean,
right, exactly.
The show still moves in the same direction at the same boring, slow, excruciating pace. And I'd hate myself, but you keep going. I mean, there's
that's a challenging thing too, man. I mean, as you guys know, like I went to see Mark Maron recently, and I think that was one thing that he spoke about when he interviewed President Obama. And I mean, and it just sort of illustrates that every person who does something creatively, we're all in the same fucking pot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're doing this episode for 1,000. We're doing this show for 1,000 episodes, and one kid decides to pick up a mic and create a podcast that day. He is automatically in the same ring. He's in the same league as us, as long as he's still consistently putting out that podcast. So we're just in a league with everybody else. And I mean, and this illustrates it because he after interviewing President Obama, he's talking about how his father, for example, thought that maybe it just wasn't good enough, because he said, maybe they can put you on TV to interview people now. So it's like, it always has this feeling when you do something great like that. It always has the where do I go from here feeling, but the real answer is you never fucking know. You have no fucking clue, and I guess that's the courage that it takes. And of course it sounds corny, but that's the courage that it takes to follow your heart, because you have no fucking clue. You have no clue when it's going to happen. I've always likened this. I've always likened this to being with a woman. It's just like being with a creative endeavor is no difference in being with a woman. You have no clue if you and this person whom you built so much trust with, who knows so much about you, you're making yourself so vulnerable to this person. You have no clue if you're going to be with this person for the next 20 years of your fucking life. You have a kid with this person. You have no clue, but you're following your heart. You're not worrying, and you're not attaching yourself to the idea of, this has to happen within 20 years. It's like, once you start to tell yourself that you and somebody will fucking be together in 20 years, it's just that once you squeeze something, you're going to make it pop. Once you hold on to something way too tight, once you hold on to that end result, that's when you're fucked.
I kind of disagree, man.
Disagree with that?
You have the relationship analogy. I don't think it's quite like that for me anyway.
Well, you wouldn't understand it because you haven't loved anybody in how long?
All right, guys, show's over. Let's get
No, why isn't it like that? What do you mean?
But I don't think it's like that because I don't see my partnership with I don't see what I create, my relationship with it. It's not like this thing that can leave me. It's not leaving at all. The more I put into it, the more it gives back to me.
Well, that's exactly. Well, look, I mean, honestly,
but women aren't like that.
Yeah, but I made a well. Look, I made a joke just now, but I think it's actually the case. It's
not.
And it's quite. Look, listen. And
you could get if I gave a woman what I gave to all this shit, she would. It would. I think I'd be considered like a bitch, like some dude who gets walked all over. If I gave a fraction, if I cared a fraction as much as I care about this thing.
Totally disagree, man. I totally disagree. I mean, I think I think this taps into your cynicism about relationships. I think it does. I think that's pretty obvious, right?
Girls get bored with these guys who just go who do that shit. Well, I guess a lot of girls get bored with that kind of thing.
Well, I think you're reading into it too much about what you do towards it. And what I'm really commenting on is the uncertainty aspect of it. The uncertainty aspect that you don't know where this Vice.com thing is going to lead to. You don't know where this podcast is. Like, you have no clue.
I know exactly where this podcast is going. It's straight to fucking garbage. Let's be honest here.
That's what we're doing here. But no, it's
someone's hitting delete on their phone right now.
The uncertainty of being with somebody, and of course, if you're in a relationship with them, you would like to believe, yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, but really, there's no guarantee out of any of it. But you put your trust in the other person. Now, that's exactly what I'm talking about, because you trust what you're doing right now. You haven't trusted a woman in a very long time, so you don't believe in that trust. You don't believe in the idea of giving.
Your work cannot cheat on you. Or you can't cheat on your work and make it leave you because you're a piece of shit.
As a physical possibility, you are absolutely right. But
yes,
you're only,
let's leave it there. Thank you.
But you're only okay. So your argument is a semantical argument. All right, I understand that.
Is it?
It's possible for a
You're
woman.
saying in terms of not knowing what's gonna happen.
In terms of actually, you have to, okay, you obviously believe in the notion of whatever you're seeking is seeking you. All right. You seek something, you work towards something, and there's something that comes back to you with the work that you
Absolutely.
do. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's the same with another person once you build that level of trust. Can that person leave you? Absolutely. Can you work for Vice and do all this and it be fucking stagnant for the rest of your fucking life? Absolutely. It is very possible. Failure it's readily available. It's there. It's there at any second in both instances, I believe. It's readily available. But of course, yes, a woman can cheat on you. Absolutely. And I bet you a woman's cheated on you. I've seen you before.
Each woman probably is cheating.
Have you ever really been cheated? Has that happened before?
Yeah, I had one girl cheat on me. I found out.
Did you see this happen?
No, I found out about it after the fact.
Okay.
She had cheated on me with another girl too.
Oh.
That I knew.
You weren't into it, right? It wasn't like a stereotypic thing where like, oh hey, any room for me?
No, because I was done at that point. I was way done. I wasn't really bothered by it. I mean, was I cheated on ever another time? I don't think my ex did. If she did, I wouldn't be surprised because I was shitty to her. I was just not a good boyfriend. Yuck.
It was all about
I didn't like her that much. She was such a nice girl too.
Hmm.
Oh, well. Yeah, so how about you? You been cheated on?
Cheated on? Not that I know of. I mean, I think maybe if there was one relationship that it might have happened, I wouldn't be surprised to know it today that it did happen. But that was years ago. But I don't think I've been really cheated on that much. I don't think so. I think if I was ever really lied to, I think I was lied to by this girl who once told me that she wasn't a virgin, and I know for certain she was a virgin.
Because that shit was loose as fuck when you slipped in there, like a slip and slide. Okay. It was like one of those slides in Six Flags, and you just sliding down.
She was a virgin. She was. She just didn't want to tell me. She didn't want to tell Daddy, but it's okay. Daddy knows.
Virgins suck, man.
Daddy knows.
You don't want a virgin. You want a chick who's been with like more than 20 dudes. That's the girl you want.
More than 20 dudes? How old is she?
More than 20 dudes.
How old is she?
15.
That'll do.
Subway, eat fresh.
Promiscuous girl.
It's fucking 9 dudes. Oh, that's no good. Ooh, it's not funny at all.